emotion, mental state that we all experience on daily basis. But that emotion, if you don't manage well, can motivate us, can drive us to do unimaginable things. And that mental state can also create a lot of chaos in human society and conflicts, and even all the way to war. Can you guess what that emotion is? The emotion that will create troubles, will that will lead you to have lack of sleep, and also conflicts in your own immediate community and also in larger community.
Anger.
Yeah.
Fear.
Yes. Anger and fear is very closely connected. Yeah. The underneath state of a lot of angers is the fear, and then defensiveness. Yeah. Um, Interestingly, so we, although we use this term anger as if it's a one single mental state, in the Buddhist language, in the Buddhist text, we have series of names to refer to different levels of what we call anger. So what we usually call anger is not a one single thing; it's a kind of spectrum. So, for example, ill will, or it will be like highest form of that emotion. Anger somewhere in the middle, and then maybe at the bottom level, maybe little bit irritation and dislike will be like an initial state of that mental state, starting from little bit dislike, we call disapproval and irritation, and go to resistance, and then like that can develop. So and then it can go all the way to rage, ill will and rage, and then and vengeness also. So it's like a spectrum. So what we find in the instruction in the Buddhist text is that if you understand this as a spectrum, and 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 if we detect it at early stage, it's easy to handle. But of course, at any time, if we detect it, if we become aware of it, we can follow certain techniques to manage it. But most of the time, we are not mindful until we do some crazy thing, and then after the fact, we remember that, oh, what did I say? And maybe after a day, we realize that we were out of balance, and we are like overacting maybe. So our goal is to develop our mindfulness to catch it as early as possible, and then and use different techniques to deal with that. So this is not to deny that there can be real threat, or maybe real situation, real behavior that may be disturbing, bothering, and needs to be corrected. But there can be such situation definitely. But what we are trying to do is actually first try to heal ourselves, try to settle down ourselves, and actually becoming stronger and firm ourselves before we handle, before we face and even solve those issues. If you want to solve, correct a situation that needed to be corrected, but if you approach with this unsettled, uncontrolled mental state, we are not skillful, we will not do a good job. So therefore, even though there is an unfair situation, there's a threat we need to really address, but even in that case, we have to do some internal management before we address that. And some cases, the more the anger are the situations sometimes already happened, and sometimes not as serious as we think. So let's discuss, what we can do with this emotion. And there's an interesting, discourse by the Buddha. One person come and ask interesting question from the Buddha, because Buddha is known to, teach non-violence, non-violence, loving kindness, and peace. But this person has this interesting question. He come and ask from the Buddha, having killed what, do you sleep in ease? Having killed what, do you not grieve? Of the slaying of what does you approve? So he's asking the Buddha, what kind of killing do you approve? I mean, slaying. What kind of slaying that do you approve? You want to know whether would they approve any types of slaying, any type of killing. So this is the question he asks. Apparently, Buddha has an answer. I think he approved one type of killing. It's not something that we expect from in the Buddhist teaching. He approved one type of killing, but not living beings. And his answer that having killed anger, you sleep in ease. Having killed anger, you do not grieve, like regret or repent. The noble ones praise the slaying of anger with its honeyed crest and poison root. Interesting way to explain anger. The slaying of anger with its honeyed crest and poison root. For having killed it, you do not grieve. So this will be the only thing that Buddha approved of killing or harm or like a slaying. Actually, slaying, slaying of wanting to slay, slaying, right? The killing of wanting to killing. So slaying of the anger. The only form of killing or slaying that Buddha approved is the slaying of anger. But I think when you think about slaying, Bhante, can we really kill anger? Is it necessary to kill anger?
According to the Buddha. Yes.
I mean, because he was put into this frame because he asked this question, series of questions, so he answered.
Yeah, it is not an easy job.
Yeah.
But at the outset, you can manage the anger. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, Bhante. I think. Although the term used like a slaying anger, I think what we can really do is not really, like really fighting with the anger, but in practice, what we can do is actually not feeding the anger. That is how you slay. It's more like what do you call make the anger starve, because anger cannot stay or anger cannot grow if you do not give, if you don't feed it. Do you know how we feed anger? Reacting, yes.
Identifying with the anger.
Yeah. Like
The
definitely.
feeling.
Yeah. Very closely identifying with the anger. Yes. Like say the I am anger. Actually, even language is fooling us.
Rumination.
Thoughts.
Thoughts.
Thoughts are the food for the anger. It's like, like a sugar for cancer. Like thoughts are the, food for the anger. Because in another time, Buddha said that because we can have irritation, we can have dislike, irritation, and maybe, some kind of, fluctuation in the mind. And that's maybe, happen automatically, but then how strong state and how whether it's going to move to anger and to ill will to rage, that depends on rumination. That depends on thoughts. Somebody did not reply to your text. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's it's a little irritating, right? So irritated, and then and the initial irritation, like like invite many other thoughts, and you kind of scan your memory and select all the unhappy moments you had with that person, and say that, okay, this person even did that, he even didn't answer my call, and he lied to me, and then you kind of line up all the bad memories along, among so many things that happen with that person. Our mind is very good in selecting all the bad interaction you had with that person and line up everything well, and then you keep thinking about it. He even did this, even did that, and right now even he is ignoring me and whatever. So the more you keep thinking about that way, and that initial irritation can grow into real anger. So it is those thoughts, that we need to manage, and then observe them, and like scanning the memory and try to it's a very biased picture that we are creating at that time. So try to like remind yourself, and this is not the only thing happen with that person. Right? And sometimes only the memory, but in most of the time it's also like imagining the worst, like rumination, not really what happened, but and thinking, like having all kind of possible scenario, and you think that probably he might be showing to other friends, you see this person texted me, I even did not reply him. You are imagining that he may be doing those things, and those imagination, rumination can really make our anger stronger. So in Bhante, remember that in the Dhammapada we have that verse, Akkochimang Adimang Ajinimang. So if a person keeps thinking that that person accused me, that person defeated me, that person blamed me, and if you keep thinking, or maybe that person has done that, but if you keep thinking like that, and the tone of anger in your heart will never be removed. So it is these thoughts, and then also identifying the anger. I think one very good skill that we develop in our meditation is to look at our own thoughts as if they are not ours. Isn't it what we have been doing? Like of course, when you do loving kindness, we purposely generate wholesome thoughts. We just cultivate that wholesome quality. But when we are with the breath, you may have remembered so many things. What did you remember? Maybe tomorrow what you had to do, right? And maybe you forgot to do your laundry, whatever. We may have remembered many things. So, but whenever we remember these things, usually you catch and we develop more thoughts. But when you do breathing meditation, and we try to be with the breath, and whenever those thoughts occur to us, we kind of look at them as if they're not really ours. We simply say thoughts, and like that. So relating to our thoughts and our own emotions in this way, like more like objectively looking at them and not making them our own, like simply being like developing this skill to like watch them, like almost like in the backstage, and we are watching these thoughts, these emotions coming in, like popping in, asking our attention, and being able to watch them is such a great skill, what we call awareness, conscious awareness, and the moment you develop that is so helpful. So one way to like not to let the anger influence our whole body and whole organism and to our relationship is to be able to like simply watch that anger objectively as if It's not ours. Actually, it's not ours too.
I think one way to control anger is to forgive and forget.
Mm. Forgive and forget. Yes, definitely. Yeah, like let go. Yeah. But I think, the part of forget, can we really forget? Can we purposely
Yeah,
forget?
if you block the thought that you're talking about, which generate more anger,
Yeah, if you
you
let
just
go of the
block
anger,
that.
yeah. I think, yeah, I think forgiving is possible. It's more like accepting, but I think forgetting, yeah, I mean, we can let the memory fade away if we don't think about it very often. Yeah, but there's no mechanism to purposely forget. If that is the case, it's going to be wonderful, right? We can like purposely erase some, yeah. But if you don't like keep thinking about it, you will automatically, yeah. So I think so in the act of forgiving, we don't have to forget. We can remember exactly, but we don't want to think about it as you very often. But we can accept, we can understand why that person did. We develop more compassion. He was not, in his perfect state of the mind, and he was victim of his own delusion. So, like reinterpreting the same situation, like you still remember, but you develop different relationship. Yeah. But I think to like observing anger as if it's not really part of us, um, and that is exactly what we do. In Buddhist psychology, we talk about six senses, not five. Of course, we have eye, ear, nose, tongue, and skin, tactile. So those are the five basic senses. And in Buddhist psychology, we also consider mind as one sensory organ. So we have six senses. So when you have six senses, we have six sensory objects. For eye, we have visual forms. For ear, we have sounds. For nose, we have smells. For tongue, we have taste. For skin, we have touch. For mind, as a sensory organ, what we have? Thoughts. Thoughts. Thoughts, memories, emotions. Okay. So if you use that framework, okay, now, whatever visual forms you see, you can see so many visual forms. Do you consider those visual forms as yours? Your internal organ is eye, right? Visual forms is coming, right? Sounds. Do you consider whatever you hear as yours, like a sound as yours? No, it's like this is the ear, you hear the sound. So if you use the same framework, when you come to mind, and whatever thoughts, emotions, memories that are arising are like visual forms, like sounds. It's happening as a dependently arising process, as a causal process, not necessarily like like an inherent part of us, but it's simply occurring, as a result of our associations, our previous our patterns of thinking. So if you use that framework, and it's interesting way to look at our own thoughts, and we will not take our thoughts very seriously. I mean, of course, they are naturally occurring, but we don't have to like stick to them. We can select them, and then maybe try to keep more wholesome, useful, healthy ones, and like let the unhealthy one like a have a natural death. Let them have a natural. You don't have to kill them, but you can let them die. Is that different between killing and letting them die? I'm not watering them. But, yeah, but I think the language is really deceiving us, because you think about it, when you say angry, like I am angry, like the like very language is I am angry. It's saying like I am Henry. When you say I am Henry, and that means you close the dragon. I am Henry. So I am whoever. When you say I am angry, automatically we make that a strong connection, right? Like I am angry. Yeah. Are you angry? And can we ask that? of course, grammatically it's correct, but I think realistically, we cannot say I am angry. Maybe the more accurate, more maybe more technically accurate way to say it, maybe anger occurs in me, something like that. Because it's a temporary phenomenon. If you feed it, will stay long. If you don't feed, it will die. Even if you feed, it's not going to be there forever. Like we shift our emotion one after the one after the one after the other, right? So anger has arisen in me. But you can say, if someone come in, if you really want other person to know that you are hurt, you can say, "Oh, anger has arisen in me." Nobody can. Because I'm angry, I'm mad at you. Then they will get it right.
It might take the edge off of it for
Yeah.
them too.
Yeah. What?
I recently heard this beautiful analogy
Yeah.
along the lines of what we're talking about. So we have a sun and a clouds,
Mhm.
and the clouds are our expectations, our thoughts, our emotions, and the sun is the I, the sense of self.
Awareness. Yeah.
So the clouds are always going to come in front of the sun, but the sun is always shining. So our true nature is always shining. But it's how the sun shines, will always shine through those clouds.
Temporary
Yeah.
covering, right?
Temporary. It's always going to be moving. It's constantly.
Sometimes you have eclipses too, right?
Yeah.
Like more awareness, like in our inner potential to be aware, awareness and your inner potential to have loving kindness.
And the more we identify with those clouds, the further we get away from the sense of self.
Exactly, yeah. Yes, Marisa?
So, if someone is repeating like violence or like
Abusive behavior.
repeat offenses, at what point, it's like you don't want to hold that anger. You can't necessarily change
The person,
Sure.
yeah.
behavior. You could really try to approach them with as much loving kindness and try not to feed their anger and fear. But if someone continues to have these repeated offenses where they are hurting, I guess what's the solution? You just have to.
Yeah, you have to be very skillful to hiss without poison. Yeah, definitely, of course, having this, like not feeding their anger and having this, understanding and loving kindness and even managing our anger does not mean that, we allow others to, hurt us or abuse us, even like, we have to, be firm at time, so the issue is that how we can be firm and assertive and also like stand for our values without getting angry. So usually we think that getting angry is the way that we can stand for ourselves and be strong. But actually, when we're angry, we are not stable. We are not really strong. But we can, assert. We can assert and we can, express, how it is hurtful, but without, angry tone. Like that requires a lot of training, but that's how actually even others will listen. And if you also angry respond to that, they like it. That's what they want. They throw the ball and so. But if we still firm but not really get there, get into the emotion, that is the strong. So I think we have we may have heard that story of the cobra, right? The cobra story. Ron, can you tell the story?
Really picking the cover up the tie up the
Yeah.
And he goes out and they looking for something to tie up a bundle of twigs for fire, and they see the sting, they climb up and they're like, what
The
are you doing?
the lady with the poor eyesight saw some string, so she took it and tied it, but it happened to be a cobra. But that cobra, according to the story, a week before, that cobra has approached an ascetic, in the forest, and he really wanted to be a good creature. So he got all the instruction for, from that, ascetic to be kind and loving kind. So he was only eating the dead animals and not killing other animals, and practicing loving kindness. And during that time, that old lady was looking for something to tie her firewood, and saw this string and took it and tied that whole firewood. And of course it's so painful, we are twisting and tying, and but he has now made this vow, and he didn't do anything. He just let that lady to tie him, and he broke many of his bones. And then she took that firewood home, and then she untied and now he has all these wounds and broken bones, and difficult to even move. It took few days for him to move back. And he went to that ascetic. Said, look at me. I was practicing what you asked me to practice. Look at me, what happened? And then ascetic told me, you are not practicing loving kindness. You are practicing foolishness. And he said that, of course, you should practice. You should not, kill or harm anyone. But at least you should have showed her that you are a cobra. If you show her that you are a cobra, like hissing without biting, which is very difficult. But if you just showed her that you are a cobra, she will never use you to tie. So sometimes we have to show who we are, what our values, how hurtful, they are behaving. We have to make them known. But we have to stand, but not with retaliation or anger, but with very strong place, so that's the thing, and yeah. But sometimes we don't have to be in that environment all the time, and sometimes it depends, if there's a violent and abusive behavior all the time, we have choice to move away, keep safe distance, keep our boundaries. That's the first thing we have to do, keep our boundaries. We don't want to get into this toxic environment and keep our boundaries. But some cases, in a working environment, if we cannot take boundaries, next thing will be to tell them I'm a cobra. That means not really want to hurt, but
And you can say, well, I'm a cobra like you. Otherwise, it's not.
yes.
Because everybody has the nature of
Yeah.
anger.
Yeah.
So anger killed two people. You are mad, somebody make you angry, you kill him.
Yeah.
And you die from anger.
Anger. It's like a poison, right? Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And there's one interesting discourse. Buddha says that, in the Visuddhimagga, hurting or harming someone with, try to hurt and harm someone with anger is like trying to hit someone with a heated iron bar. We have a heated, iron bar. You take the iron bar, you want to hit someone. If your strike is successful, other one will get hurt. Whether other one get hurt or not, one thing is sure: your hand is already burned. Okay, so I think anyway, so our what we can learn is how we can there can be so many irritable things in our life, and whatever happening around us, other people's behavior, even simple things like traffic is so irritable, right? Yeah. Yeah. I remember listening to someone's giving a talk and say that you like your car so much, you decorate, you buy, most cases we buy our favorite, car, And then how good if you can sit it long in your car in traffic. Why you get so upset in the traffic? Why not be enjoying the car? But anyway, so there can be so many irritable things. Of course, these days, staying in the car is much better than staying outside under hot sun. So you can enjoy the traffic.
Sometimes, Bunty, I think that's such a beautiful car. It's too bad it didn't come with any turn signals.
They start without.
And then I have to abandon the thought.
Yes. Yeah. So I think so irritable things going to happen. So they are definitely irritable. Maybe not but I think what we can do, how we relate to them. Maybe initially it can be irritable, but then we can manage our mind not to let that irritation grow into an anger and eventually to rage and ill will. So those things will happen, and we notice it, and we don't bring more other thoughts and memories. And whenever those thoughts happen, we just become aware of it, and even very noticing the very change happening in our own body. Not only the mind. Any irritation also changes the body, our physiology, right? And you're noticing that, interesting, how my muscles got tense and breath is shorter, and very observation, because when you be observing it, mind is busy of observing, and it doesn't have time to like bring other memories and thoughts to like feed it, right? So mind can do only one thing at a time. Should give a task, watch this, observe this, notice this, and then we don't put more thoughts. Therefore we can stay at the level of irritation, which is common, mostly unavoidable, but they are not that harmful. We can pass it by. And if the person, if we have irritable person behavior of the other person, maybe not at that time, and another time we can discuss and tell the person, it is so irritating, and I would really laugh here to behave differently, right? And whenever the other person behave, very nicely, don't be stingy, say it. Oh, that was so good. The way you, respond to that, the way you handle that was so good. I really like that version of you. Just let them know, and water the good part, and then gradually, hopefully, they will learn. And everyone likes to be liked, actually, in whatever way. So if you let them know that you like that person, if the person is more, nicer and kind. Yeah. So let's try to be in the level of irritation, like watching it and not bringing more thoughts. Whenever you remember, whenever you catch yourself bringing all the memories and thoughts, and try to remember all the bad experience in the past, and just notice yourself and watch yourself. Let's say thoughts, and not important, not really necessary, and then come back to the real.
And
Real experience.
according to this teaching, it's okay to kill,
Yeah, okay to kill by not feeding it.
not feeding.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let us move to the other part of the program. Turn to page 14. And it is at the time for us to share the merits, goodness we have generated here. By coming to this practice, doing this practice together wholeheartedly, keeping our mind free from unwholesome thoughts for this long period of time, we have generated so much good karma, good merits, wholesome energy. Let us now share these good merits with everyone else. First of all, let us share these merits with our departed relatives, our ancestors, our family members who have passed away. Let us be grateful to their love and care and share these merits with them. May they all share these merits. May they all be benefited from these merits. May they all be well, happy, and peaceful. Idang me ñātīnaṃ hotu sukhitā hontu ñātayo. Idang me ñātīnaṃ hotu Sukhita huntu ñātayo Idang me ñātinam hotu Sukhita huntu ñātayo. Let us also share these merits with all other living beings. If there's any living being who would like to share this merit, may he or she do so. May all living beings share our merits. May all living beings be well, happy, and peaceful. Ittavata ca amhihi sambhatam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe bhūta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Wish for the well-being of the world in English. May the weather be pleasing. May the people prosper in their lives. May there be peace and happiness in the world. May the rulers be righteous. May all those who are suffering be free from suffering. May all those who are in fear be free from fear. May all those who are in grief be free from grief. May all beings be well and happy. Aspiration. May this wholesome act quicken the liberation of my mind from mental defilements. By virtue of this wholesome act, may I never follow the unwise people. May I associate with good people until I attain Nibbana, purification. If by body, speech, or mind I have carelessly done wrong, I acknowledge them all in front of the Tathagata of great wisdom and determine to be beautiful. We will now do our blessing chant, wishing you all good health, peace, and happiness. We will chant the Loving Kindness Sutra, and this sutra was given by the Buddha with great compassion for all living beings. We will chant this sutra for you today, wishing you all the blessings of the great compassion of the Buddha. May you be surrounded by these wholesome blessings, wholesome vibrations, and the vibrations of loving kindness we are radiating now. And by the power of this wholesome chant, may you gain strength and courage to overcome difficulties in your life. May you receive more help and support to overcome your suffering and pains. And may you all receive these blessings. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. You may also recall to your mind whoever you want to share these blessings with, your family members, friends who need help. Keep them in your mind and share these blessings with them too. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Karaniya manta kusalena yang tang santan padam abhisamicca sakko joca sojoca suaco casnsa mudu anatimani santosnsa koca subaroca Ampakincoca sallahu kabut ti santing briyocha nipakocha appagabbo kulesu ananugindo nacha kundang samacare kincena vinyo pare upapadeyum sukino va kemino huntu sabbe santa bhavantu sukitanta ekecipana bhutanti Vatavarava anavasesadigrava ye mahantava majjimaraskanukatula dittava eva additta ye chadure vasanti avidure Tavasam bhavesi vasabbe santa bhavantu sukitanta naparo parang nikumbet nati manyet kanta chinam kanchi vyarosana patiga sanyana Sadukkamicceya mata yathaniyang puttang ayusa eka putta manurakke evam pisambhabotesu manasang bhavaye aparimanang mettang ca sabbhalokasming manasang bhavaye aparimanang muddang adoca tiriyanca asanggadang averang asapantang tittang carang nisingno vasayano vayavatassa vigatamindo etang satim aditteya brahmametang viharang idamaho ditting ca anupagam silevadasanena sampanno kami suviniya gedang nahi jatu gambaseyang punareti etena sanca vanjena sontite hotu sambada etena sanca vanjena sambarogo vinassatu etena sanca vanjena hotu te jaya mangalang Sambhitiyo vivajjantu sabbarogo vinassatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi digayuko bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sada sonti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba dhammanubhavena sada sonti bhavantu te bhavatu sabba mangalang rakkantu sabba devata sabba sanghanubhavena sada sonti bhavantu te Let us spend a moment of reflection. Let us recall to our mind whatever kind deed that we were able to do during our past few days. Think about an actual incident that you were able to help someone, you were able to listen to someone, or you were able to give something to someone. Even a simple act of kindness. Let us rejoice. On this day,
On this day,
or in the past,
in the
if
past,
I have done kind deeds
if I have done kind deeds
to other beings,
to other
with
beings,
my body, speech, or mind,
with my body, speech, and
whether
mind,
great or little,
the great knowledge,
here before the Buddha,
before
I call to mind
I call to mind
those kind deeds,
those kind deeds,
and let my heart rejoice.
and let my heart rejoice.
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
appreciating the opportunity to be helpful to others.
appreciating the opportunity and fullness.
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
wishing more opportunities to practice compassion.
wishing more opportunities to practice
I
compassion.
rejoice in those kind deeds,
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
resolving not to compare myself with others.
resolving not to compare myself.
I rejoice in those kind deeds,
I rejoice in those kind
and
deeds,
glad to share this joy with all beings everywhere.
and glad to share the joy with all beings.
May my kind deeds
May my kind
relieve the
deeds
burdens of other beings.
relieve the burdens of other
May
beings.
my kind deeds
May my kind
shield me
deeds
from all dangers and pain.
shield me from all dangers.
May my kind deeds
May my kind
and
deeds
merits that come from
and the
them
merits that come from them
help me in freeing my heart.
help me in freeing my heart.
Let us now rejoice the goodness of others. Think about kindness or help you receive from anyone else. Whatever kindness you receive from others in this week, try to recall such a pleasant memory, or even kindness you have seen in someone else. On this day,
On this day,
or in the past,
or in the past,
if I have seen or heard
if I have seen
of the kind deeds done by others,
all the kind deeds done by
with their body, speech, or mind,
with their bodies,
whether great or little,
whether great or
here
little,
before the
here
Buddha,
before the Buddha,
I call to mind
call to
those
mind
kind deeds,
those kind
and let my heart rejoice.
let my heart rejoice.
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of
being
others,
always ready to praise kind people
being always ready to praise
and
kind
follow their example.
and follow their example.
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
appreciating that there are many good-hearted people in the world. I rejoice in the goodness of others,
I rejoice in the goodness of others,
expressing gratitude for any kindness done.
expressing gratitude for any kindness
May the
done.
kind deeds of
May
others
the kind deeds of
bring
others
safety and happiness to many living beings.
bring safety and happiness to many living
May the
beings.
kind deeds of
May
others
the kind deeds of others
foster gratitude and fellowship among many living beings.
foster gratitude and fellowship among many living
May the
beings.
kind deeds of
May
others
the kind deeds of others
nurture goodness in me
nurture goodness in
and many other beings.
many other beings.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes. Yeah.
Dear friends in Dharma, I am Jason, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank our monks and all of you, as well as provide updates on our upcoming events. On behalf of all participants, I extend a heartfelt gratitude to our monks and guidance for the teachings today. Thank you, Bhantes, for your wisdom and your support.
Welcome.
We deeply appreciate your presence and commitments to the meditation practice. The Buddha Center has served a place for refuge for peace-loving individuals and growing spiritual community. Together, under the guidance of our monks, we support one another in enhancing well-being and spiritual growth. We are delighted to have you as a part of this community and encourage you to enjoy the monthly and annual programs to strengthen spiritual friendship. On our next main event is July 20th, scheduled for
Monthly gathering.
monthly
Sunday,
gathering?
monthly
Yeah,
gathering.
Sunday monthly gathering. We will look forward to your participation. This center and our monks is sustained entirely by the generosity of our friends and devotees. If you would like to support the continuation of these programs and the well-being of the monks, you're welcome to make a free will donation. The donation box is located near the notice board. Additionally, we would like to invite you to volunteer in keeping our center beautiful and functioning well. We welcome volunteers for tasks such as cleaning, decorating, small maintenance jobs, gardening, graphic designs, technology support, and craft work. If you're interested, please speak with our monks to let them know how you would like to contribute it. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, talking about volunteering, actually, we are thinking about having a garage sale as a fundraiser in August because our neighbor is putting up a garage sale. We try to join that. So I'm going to invite you to bring anything that like a way of donating to the temple. So if you have something that you like to give us to be in the garage sale, please bring them. And I also have to have volunteers. We have time, but I think I'm going to ask people if those things didn't get sold, you bring them back. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, or maybe goodwill something. Yeah, maybe we can plan. We can have a planning committee. So that is going to be August 2nd. So please think about anything that you can donate to the temple to be in the garage sale. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate your participation. Those who join our YouTube, really appreciate your commitment to practice from home. And we apologize for the disruption happened in the middle, but really, I appreciate your participation. Thank you, everyone. Good night to you all. Please come to have a blessing string.